All right, guys. Big division game this week. Baltimore's playing really good football. Um, everything we do in this division goes through Baltimore. They're the defending champs of the division. So, um, we're looking forward to the challenge. It'll be a physical game. They always try to create that. We want to form our identity to be the same thing. So, um, they've done a great job with Lamar and his skill set. He's improved as a passer. Um, Everything kind of runs through him and Mark. Mark has come in and stepped right in and kind of takes on their mantra of being physical. He's a downhill physical type runner that can make you miss in space. So we've got our work cut out for us defensively. Um, Offensively, they present tremendous challenges as far as on the edge with the pass rush. Um, their coverage skills are great outside, and they do a good job of trying to stop the run and eliminating big plays. So special teams, they pride themselves on being good in special teams, just as we try to do. And, so we've got our work cut out for us across the board. It'll be a great, tremendous challenge to come out this week and have a good week of preparation and practice and worry about getting better today. So with that, any questions?
Injury-wise, do you got most of your secondary back, or what's?
We do not. We're playing it day by day with a lot of them. We do have Demarius back. He cleared the protocol, so he'll be back out at practice today. And I don't think any of the others will be back today.
Lamar, you say he's gotten better as a passer. What do you like that he's doing this year that he didn't last year, just throwing the ball?
I think he's making good decisions, making good, quick decisions, getting the ball out of his hands when it's there. The one thing he does, just as in any quarterback, he continues to look down the field when he gets outside the pocket, which creates big plays for him. Most of your big plays in this league, unless they're just schemed up perfectly, they come off a quarterback breaking contain or stepping up in the pocket and then breaking contain. That's how you get most of your big plays, and he's no exception to that. He just does a tremendous job in keeping his eyes down the field and continuing to look to throw the ball first.
They are the division champs, like you mentioned, and they went on that run with him last year. Did you and Steve Wilkes talk about him a decent amount, like in the offseason, planning for him? I mean, did a lot of thought go into Lamar?
During the offseason, we always have, different opponents that we prepare for, just as if it were a game week. And they were definitely one of them. But you usually try to teams that you don't know much about, or your division opponents, or both. You try to kind of quasi make a game plan each week during the off season.
Do you have someone that plays Lamar in practice this week, or is it just Gary?
We'll have a certain plays that will play Lamar, but nothing over the top. We've just got to tackle. You've got to be good in tackling with your technique and running your feet and stuff like that, because he's very versatile from the standpoint of can make you miss in space, and he's got great speed. So that's a deadly combination for defenses, and that's what you've seen on tape.
Faced Harbaugh in your career the twice last season, but he's been around way longer than most NFL coaches make it. And what all goes into him being the kind of coach who's has that kind of staying power?
Well, we played him a couple of times when I was in Arizona as well. I think he's tremendous from the standpoint of they're prepared. They create a mindset there that they're the toughest team on the field, and that's what they try to demonstrate every year. They play defense that way. Their offensive line plays that way. They've got a tremendous offensive line, probably one of the better offensive lines in football, which is shown, every week. But I think he does a great job of preparing his team, and his team will be ready to play.
When somebody has been around that long, as you go into preparing for him, of course he's going to have a new game plan, but do you kind of know what the foundation is in terms of this is what they do and this is how he tweaks it?
Well, I think just as with anytime you play Baltimore, what they really want to do is run the football and play good defense, and that's the way you should approach games for the most part, depending on what your skill set is. So I think that's lasting over time. That will always continue to be how you win football games consistently, and they're a perfect example of that.
Freddie, is that offense now what Greg Roman like the 49ers offense with Camper?
I think they did a lot of. They're doing a lot of the same things. So yes, it is. Which I know from being in Arizona, it was very hard to defend. You know, anytime you had to add the element of the quarterback running the ball, you actually end up picking up an extra blocker. So you either do that with creating that extra blocker in space, where you have to space out and cover the guy, or you use the guy as a traditional blocker. So either way, it's advantage offense.
When you were talking about the injury situations, I don't know if you were referring just to the secondary, but Chris Hubbard, what's his situation?
Chris is day-to-day. We'll see what happens with him toward the latter part of the week. He may be practicing at some point. I don't know specifically if it's going to be today.
Different. You mentioned Lamar and the deadliness with his feet and that, but what do you see differently this year with him throwing the ball versus maybe last year?
I think the first thing you see is he's more poised and under control when he's throwing the ball. They've done a tremendous job working with his throwing, his accuracy, things like that. So, he definitely gives you some problems from that standpoint, just because I think he's more comfortable now than he was last year, and it shows in how he sits in the pocket a little longer, and continues with his eyes down the field as he's on the move.
Do you have any update on your IR guys, and are you optimistic that they'll be back when they're eligible to return?
I do not have a lot of updates on them. From the standpoint, I think they're still trying to decide a couple of approaches as far as how we handle it or how they want to handle it. But no, I don't have any updates on them yet.
Specifically, the surgery decisions for Njoku and Kirksey?
I would say that's a decision that you'd have to ask them about that. It's, probably a couple different avenues they could go in each case. So you'd have to ask them. I'll let Joe and our trainers try to advise the best scenario for them personally, and that's what we tend to go off of.
Ryan's critique of Baker Mayfield the other day, he said that Baker was making one read and then improvising. Like to say whether you agree with that or not, and if to some extent he is making one read and getting rid of the ball quick, is he worried that he's going to get hit, and that's why the reads are fast, and then he's looking to find out what's there after making the one scripted read?
I appreciate his opinion and all that, but he's not in our building. He has no idea what we're doing. So I'd answer that with that. Is he a one-read quarterback? No, he's not. I mean, that's asinine to even say.
Yesterday or Monday, you said the end of the Baltimore game last year, you learned from that, and then you went on to say you'll learn from the end of the last game. Weren't they the same situation? Don't you see them as the same type of situations?
No, I don't. They're the same from the standpoint of they were at the end of the game. But, I think when you start talking about things like that, you're always wanting to evolve and get better with situations. And the more you're in those situations, you get better at them. So, I don't know. I've definitely studied each sequence of plays, and, I try to get better in every situation I'm in.
Can you just say what you learned from that?
Yeah, no, I'd rather not. I'd rather not say.
It's been 3 games now. What do you think defenses are doing differently to your offense in Baker to, making adjustments from last year?
I think they're strictly game planning on what we're doing. I don't know that they're doing anything different. I think they're creating some advantages from the standpoint of what they show you pre-snap and post-snap, but they did that last year. It's just, this is, contrary to popular belief, we're not that far away. So, it's my job to make these guys understand that, and I think they do. I think they've bought into the fact that they don't really care what's going on outside of our building. And, when you start talking about blocking out noise and stuff like that, that's not only when they're talking good about you, it's when they're talking bad about you too. Because when they're talking good about you, we try to stress that it doesn't matter. Well, you're stressing the same thing when they're talking bad about you. So it doesn't matter. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is what we do in our building.
So would you say then the offensive, whatever, struggles, right, 16 points a game, is more what you guys haven't done than what defenses have done to you?
I don't think there's any. I think there's plays during the course of a game that if we don't do what we're supposed to do, they're kind of wasted plays. And I think those wasted plays are impacting our ability to succeed. And it's truly as simple as that. It's about doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. It's about me putting them in better situations. I've got to start doing my part. They got to start doing their part, and that's how things come together. It's not that hard of a solution. Now, just because you have you know the solution, you do everything you can to increase the ability to have different results.
When you say contrary to popular belief, we're not that far away. Well, specifically, what makes you think that, or what evidence do you have that things are close to getting back to where they were last, or whatever? Getting back to where you want.
Well, I mean, you know, the misses that we've had have been close. The reasons for some of the lack of production have been close. It's been being off just a little bit here, or being off with the protection. I mean, the first game of the year, going into the fourth quarter, Baker was 22 of 29, with Odell running free after the screen to make the ball game 22-20. All right, so look at that play, and the protection broke down. So if you just take that play along, the whole mindset or whatever opinion has changed. All right, so it's little things like that that make a difference within the game. And as you guys know, the games dictate the feeling on the season. We're not panicking. We understand where we're at. We understand that, you know, we could take a lot of good things out of this game this past week, and we're going to try to take those things just as we would have if we'd have won. Nothing changed. If we'd have won the game last week, nothing would have changed about how we played. It was just we were successful at the end of the game. So you still got to try to get better from whether you win or lose. You're still trying to do the same thing, is get better. And that's the mindset that we're in. We're not worried about the outside noise, whether we're doing good or doing bad. It doesn't matter. We only worry about what we can control. And what we can control is how we prepare today for Baltimore on Sunday.
You said that Baker was better seeing the middle of the field last week. And then a week ago, he was talking about going back to kind of his basics and mechanics, whatever. Technically, did you think he played a sound game on Monday night? Was he better in that aspect?
I think he was much better than he had been. And I think he's going to be better today than he was yesterday. And, you know, I think Baker and I are like-minded from the standpoint of we're only worried about today. We're worried about first and second down and a few third downs today. And tomorrow we're going to worry about third down and red zone. And the next day we're going to worry about short yardage and red zone. And so I think that's the mindset Baker's in, and he's going to continue to get better. He just finished his first year of football the other day with 16 games. So, you know, I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking about anything about our program. Our program's going to stay the same and going to continue to evolve, continue to get better. And that's the way we're going to approach it. That's the way it started in March. That's the way it was during the spring. That's the way it was during training camp. And that's the way it's going to be during the season. And we feel like that gives us the best opportunity to get better every day, every week, every month, every quarter of the season, and then play our best football every time we go out onto the field in relation to the previous game. And that's what we're striving to do.
It seems like not just this past game, but even a little bit in the first couple of games, that Baker's kind of had this tendency to kind of drift back. You know, he feels a little bit coming or thinks he does. He's drifting back and throwing it. Collinsworth called it fadeaway jumpers.
Yeah.
How much of an emphasis have you guys put on that and trying to get away from those dangerous situations?
You know, we're always, you know, the quarterback has to be the toughest person on the field, all right? And I think Baker is. So I don't know about fadeaway jumpers and all that kind of stuff. That's talk to Chris about that, but well, I see him fading away sometimes, but quarterbacks throw the ball from different angles all the time. How many times in the National Football League do you have a clean pocket to throw out of? It's very, very, very rare. All right. So quarterbacks' accuracy depends on the fact that their feet and their hands are moving in the same direction. Okay. So we're constantly talking about Baker's technique, and he's constantly aware of it. But at the end of the day, I want him to feel comfortable about what he's supposed to do and go out and just do it. All right. And however he gets it done, he gets it done. That separates some players from other players. And Baker's got the ability to be accurate from different throwing angles, from his feet being in different spots, places, non-clean pockets, on the move. He's got those abilities. At the end of the day, we just need to execute. That's all. And our guys know that. Our guys have bought into that. They don't care about anybody else talking about, fadeaway jump shots. We don't care. We're always trying to get better.
You've seen so far, is their running game improved over last year?
I think it's a lot more consistent. I do. I think they're, in a lot of ways, they want to run the ball, and they're able to run the ball.
There's so many stats to look at and analyze a quarterback. How relevant do you think the stat is of comeback victories in the fourth quarter? Is that a direct reflection of the quarterback more than anything, you think?
I don't want to just talk to be talking. I don't really know. I don't think. I think you can sway stats any way you want to fit the narrative. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. I just think some stats are relevant, some stats aren't. And I mean, how many? Sometimes it depends on simply how many times he's in that situation. How many times? Where did they get the ball to start with? Just there's so many. I don't think that's indicative to how good the quarterback is. No.
You don't think, though, one common trait of great franchise quarterbacks are the ability to do that?
I think the common trait of great franchise quarterbacks are wins and losses.
The difference between 2-2 and 1-3, it seems pretty immense. But from that standpoint, I mean, the numbers are what they are. Do you just ignore those numbers and coach, or does that add to the sense of urgency that you're preaching?
We try to win every time we go out. And this is a big division game. Our division games mean more than other games, and just as they do in Baltimore, just as they do in Pittsburgh, this is no different. And of course, we want to get on the plane being 2-2. That's everybody's goal. If you're 1-2, you want to be 2-2, and that's really the only thing we're worried about.
What's that for Higgins this week?
Day to day. That's really the only thing I can tell you right now about that.
Obviously, Odell and Jarvis are some of the better receivers around, but are you guys missing something when Higgins is out? And is there an element that he brings?
Well, Higgins has played a lot of football, and has played a lot of football with Baker, and has played a lot of football in this offense. So, but again, this is, it's whoever shows up, that's who we're going with, and there's never any excuses. There's never, at the end of the day, we did not have our starting secondary the other night, and we went toe-to-toe with one of the better offenses in the league. So it's just know what to do, know when to do it, know how to do it, and we put ourselves in position to win.